Withum's video series, The Alternative Route. Here with me today is Joe Hindy, head of US at Langham Hall's private fund administration business. Joe, thanks for joining us today.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Colleen.
So, with deal making and liquidity slowly returning to the market, we saw a significant increase in continuation vehicles over the last few years. Let's talk a little bit about them from the operational perspective. Maybe first we'll take a step back and can you tell us a little bit about what continuation vehicles are designed to achieve and why they're front of mind right now?
So, continuation vehicles are designed to achieve liquidity for the investors. I think the last 2 years fundraising has been a bit challenged because there hasn't been enough liquidity in the market for LPs. So, if a GP has a high conviction asset, it's an option to create liquidity for the LPs and then bring on a fresh horizon, aligning a new group of LPs and capital.
So based on that, what are some of the biggest things you think sponsors tend to underestimate on the operational side when setting one up?
I think the biggest thing that's underestimated is how quick complexity arises. I think you have a few different things going on. So you have legacy LPs realizing a liquidity event from an asset. You have new LPs coming into a new vehicle, and then you have a combination of a realized waterfall, unrealized valuation, and then raising a new fund all at the same time. I think complexity amplifies really quickly as this is evolving.
You have a lot of competing interests, it sounds like.
For sure.
So what are some of the most common operational pressure points you see during execution based on that?
I think the biggest thing we see is investor cohorts. So you have different vintages, different LPs and timetables. So you really have to get the cap tables that are fragmented aligned, carry waterfall mechanics correct, unrealized, realized, and then the new hypothetical unrealized for the new entity, and then just adding governance and lineage around that. You throw in quarter end risk if you have a reporting timeline, whether it's 45 or 60 day, it becomes a really stressful environment for the CFO.
Sounds like it could be. So what do you think good looks like in practice and what should an institutional setup deliver?
I think good looks like a structured data set. You have a variety of views that are involved in this process. It's a highly complex process. You have legacy fund counsel, new fund counsel for the new entity, potentially new LPs being involved. I think having a source of truth, structured data set to able to manage and track all the different percentages and the movements can create an easy environment for all parties involved.
So you've been working through a lot of these, I'm sure, with your client base. And if you could give one piece of advice to a CFO that's planning to launch a continuation vehicle, what would it be?
I think treat it as an operating model project as opposed to a transaction. I think it's naturally easily to think of it as a transaction or a liquidity event from a CFO and a GP, but you're changing your operating model because you have a variety of moving parts, different cohorts, percentages, a high conviction asset moving into a new vehicle, valuations involved, multiple different parties. You really want to get your operating model aligned with your calendar on the timeline and then proper execution when it comes to the data set.
Makes sense. Certainly a hot topic right now and a lot of great insight and advice for our managers considering a continuation vehicle structure. Thank you, Joe, for joining us today and stay tuned for our next episode of The Alternative Route.
Thank you for having me.